Great to be here. Now, if you arrived here today feeling you've got backup and disaster recovery all figured out, it's okay. You're not alone. Lionel here on the screen felt the same as you. There have been hundreds more. Why consider change when you're already using the best product? I'm Chris Groot, General Manager for Enable Backup, and you can meet Enable here. You can read our creds. Our names have been mentioned. We're involved in a couple of events with you guys. But Enable Backup serves 10,000 MSPs around the world, protecting hundreds of thousands of servers, workstations, and Microsoft 365 domains. And it's possible you've never heard of us. So how can that be? Well, we're going to change that today. And what I would ask is approach today's topic with an open mind because a new era of data protection has arrived. It's driven by the architectural advantages of a cloud-first model. So I'll give you three good reasons the analysts are saying that the cloud-first architecture is the future of data protection. So first, it's because there's a labor shortage. Any solution that improves service delivery, reduces complexity, is winning the hearts of MSPs. Second, it's because the risk landscape has changed. So today, if you ask business owners or insurance providers what they're most concerned about, it's cyber recovery. Can they recover from ransomware? And while the image-based and appliance-based vendors are talking about instant recovery, that's not actually the appropriate response when you've got a ransomware incident. That's where you need to slow it down and be much more careful and go through a proper incident response approach to correcting the situation. So with ransomware, the bottom line is that the only good backup is an offsite backup. And of course, the cloud-first approach makes this much easier. Finally, third, it's about the cost of traditional solutions. So a cloud-first approach, it really breaks the economic paradigm associated with traditional image and appliance-based vendors. And in the same way, I think you've seen Exchange on-premise and file service on-premise move to Microsoft 365 over the past 5 years. It's really a parallel transition happening right now in data protection. So we take advantage of the economies of scale. You get access to high-end services at a reduced cost. Now, if it's so obvious that a cloud-first or direct-to-cloud architecture solves all these problems, what is the catch? Well, when I speak to MSPs, one of the first questions is about the speed of full system recovery. And this is a good question. If something happened and you don't have an image backup, presumably you are in big trouble. Or at least that's what the backup vendors have taught us. It seems logical. The truth is, what you really want is image recovery, not image backup. And the second truth is, you don't need image backups to recover as an image. This is the first innovation I'm highlighting about Enable Backup today. It wasn't really considered a possibility 5 years ago, and still today, most technicians are surprised to learn that Enable Backup auto-deploys an agent inside the OS and recovers as an image. This means you can deliver DR services using a cloud-first architecture. No image backup vendor is going to highlight this or tell you this, so I'll repeat one of today's key takeaways. You don't need image-level backups to recover as an image, as long as you have the right software. And this has some important implications, especially for MSPs, because image backups are far from ideal. What do I mean by far from ideal? It really starts with the change rate. On day one, you've got your base image. The change rate is the size of the incremental backup on days 2, 3, 4, 5, and beyond. So in a lab environment, we took a 45 gig server, backed it up with two of the most popular image-based solutions. In the case of the first product, the change rate was averaging just over 11%. In the case of the second, it was averaging just over 5%. So if this is something you're not familiar with, I encourage you to look at this stat in your own environment. So let's assume a 6% change rate on a 500 gig production server. That means your incrementals are going to average about 30 gigs. That's just simple math. Now, with Enable Backup, that same 500 gig server, you're going to see incrementals of just half a gig. This is the second important innovation about Enable Backup I'm going to share with you today. From day one, Enable Backup has focused on the art of completing very large backups over very small internet connections in very short periods of time. And once again, most technicians are surprised to learn that Enable Backup makes this possible. Some even doubt that it's possible because this isn't just like a 10% improvement. This is a transformational improvement, and it creates meaningful impact. First, there's bandwidth. You're worried about running daytime backups? Well, when you're moving 60 times less data, it's really no more worries. Second is frequency. If you've got an issue at 4 p.m., do you want to go back 15 minutes, or do you want to go all the way back to the previous evening? Well, if this is a database application with lots of transactions, your customer would certainly prefer only losing 15 minutes of data. Third, if your incrementals are 60 times larger, you're forced to really limit the number of retention points, or else your storage is going to continue to grow out of control. In many cases, we see customers are limited to 30 days because anything more is just not feasible. But if you work with accountants or lawyers or many other types of businesses, they either require or strongly desire longer-term retention. With Enable Backup, you're not making those trade-offs. And fourth, and finally, your biggest cost, labor. This is where Enable Backup makes the biggest impact to your bottom line. The stories our customers share are consistent. This customer on the right, Fred IT, switched over 2,000 servers and workstations to Enable Backup. They exclusively work with pharmacies. After the switch, they saw their daily tickets drop from 95 per day down to 9 per day. And these kind of results go straight to your bottom line. So the overall impact, better service, lower costs, happier technicians, and peace of mind. Of course, peace of mind being that you can always recover. So if that piques your interest, you've got two options. One, you can get out your phone right now. You can use the QR code on the screen. That's going to bring you to a form with an exclusive offer. We'll hook you up with either myself or one of our backup specialists for 30 minutes to learn about your requirements, learn more details about Enable Backup, which unto itself should be a very good experience. But as a bonus, we'll also provide you with a $50 Amazon thank you card. And if you do ultimately decide it's the right move for your business, no pressure, of course, but if you do, with the initial purchase of a data protection plan, we'll include a license for Microsoft 365 backup for 150 users for free for a whole year. That's a $2,700 value. That's a pretty serious opportunity. It's no joke. So the catch is, though, you need to fill in the form. So that's option one. Option two, if you're just curious, you want to listen into some Q&A, hear what other MSPs are asking, maybe see a quick demo, join us in the breakout room. I'll be there along with Eric Harless. He's our head backup nerd. We'll have some fun together. So thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.